Monday, August 26th at 7 p.m. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Phil Clark.
Here.
John Highstreet.
Here.
William Brady. Jennifer Baker here. Nicole Emery. Here. Andrew Glay. Janice Pasco. Here. Mr. President, we have one.
Thank you. First up, we have our track team here to join us for a bit of a presentation. Now, I don't know, Alf, you want
Yeah, well, I really am excited to see every time when we invite our team, sometimes we don't get this kind of participation, especially in the summer. So you guys must be pretty doggone dedicated. But I really do appreciate seeing you guys come and the turnout. And Kevin asked to come tonight and talk a little bit about, just give an update on how many we've got doing this and what it looks like for the upcoming year. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Witherspoon.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us here tonight. It was about a year and a half ago or so that we came to you and talked about starting a trap shooting team or a clay target league with the school's name on it. And I got to admit to you, I kind of stacked the deck for you a little bit tonight with having our team meeting on the night of your board meeting so that we could come down here with you. I would like to give a shout out to all of our team members that are here tonight. In this season alone, there are 36. Just to give you an idea, that first season we started out, we were at 27. The next season we went to 28. Last spring we were at 47, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be close to the largest sports team that there might be in the high school. So I'm just saying. It's pretty interesting when we started looking at the numbers. Last year we went to states with 18 of our participants. In the spring of last year, spring of this year, we went with 22 of our members. And they had a fantastic time. It's just an amazing thing to see where there's over 1,800 high school participants in one place, all shooting trap out at Mason, Michigan. It's really an awesome sight to see. To date, we've had 60 different high school students, high school and junior high students, as a member of the trap team. And to date, just doing rough counts, only counting what we used for the season shooting, we hit this team, or these teams I should say, has fired off over 55,000 shells and at over 55,000 clay targets. So you can see people wonder why we have such an expensive bank account with the sports boosters here in Algonac. And I think you can understand that when we're putting together ammo, uniforms, we put together the clay targets and all of our expenses. And this is why, and I just want to give a huge shout out to all of the sponsors in our community that come together and support this team. Without them, each one of these kids would have to put up about $500 a season. And for people that have more than one child on this team, they put up that number. So we want to thank our sponsors. That brings that number way down so that it's affordable for our teams. This year we're going to be adding another 12,600 shells just for the season 4 coming up, which is what we're starting right now. We'll be out on the track fields starting our shooting here next week. So our schedule will be posted with the school. And if you are in the area, stop out at Perch Point Conservation Club on Tuesdays or Thursdays during our shoots. And please watch the kids. It's really something to see. So thank you very much. And I also want to thank these wonderful people back here, the parents. They performed quite a feat for these kids. They just registered, they had 3 weeks to register for this team and get everything in their athletic packets for the school, the registration's completed, and be able to be standing here, and school hasn't even started yet. So if you want to see something difficult, they just performed it, and I want to give them a huge shout out also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We normally have treats, but since school isn't in, there's no.
Hey, not to say you guys can still stick around if you want. So feel free, but if not, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thank you. Nice job, everyone. Right, Clark. Next is our consent agenda items. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that the Board of Education approves all consent agenda items, including agenda, minutes, personnel items, treasurer's report, and
Moved and supported. Any questions?
Just, even in a year where it didn't feel like we had a ton of activity, there still is, a few retirements and then replacing a couple teachers. So we are staffed at the same level that we were last year, which is, as the budget gets tighter, that gets challenging, but we've talked for several years about trying to keep those numbers in the classroom low. And this year anyway, we can still afford to do that and see where it takes us next year. But at least at this point, we are staffed and full, with the exception we had late, if you said Dawn Gower on there, GSRP teacher left us late, so we had an interview today. Amber will give us an update on that maybe. How'd that go? How'd we do today?
Yeah,
Were you
candidates that we were able
feel
to
pretty good?
today,
Okay,
so.
good. So we're in a spot where we'll be back to fully
So that's
staffed.
we just have one outstanding.
That was it at this point, so we're in a good spot. However, it's still, we have the next week, and I know that sounds crazy, but we get hit sometime with those late ones, so, we'll be ready if that happens, but feel real good about where we're at and feel real good about the hires as well, so.
Great, excellent, nice work.
Give credit to all the principals on this too, because a big part of landing those people is getting ahead of it and not waiting till this time of year to hire. And we started, especially like at the high school, we were as early as the spring before school got out doing interviews and doing some of these kind of things. So kind of getting ahead of it and locking those people in really goes a long way. So we're in a good spot right now, so I'm happy about that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Moving right along to our information items. We'll start with administrative reports. Mr. Melrose?
Yeah, just want to start off by saying thank you to the custodians and the secretaries doing a lot of work, especially the last few weeks here, getting the building ready. They worked really hard. The building looks great, and especially the secretaries. We had our 10 to 12 orientation today. Tomorrow will be 7 through 9. Everything went smoothly. Everything's in place, and it's through their hard work. And even toward the end here with the custodians, as the teachers come in, they always have last minute requests, and they jump right to it and get on it. So big thanks to both of those groups. Like I said, with the lockers painted now, and we're getting, the parking lot's getting done, the tracks well on its way to being finished. Everything's looking really nice. We're getting there, and like I said, just it's nice to see some of these new improvements coming to the building, and we're in a good spot. As Al said, we are fully staffed. We had 2 middle school English teacher positions that were open, or both filled. Kelly Boivas, who was, she was a long-term sub for a long time. She lived kind of in the area. She started a young family, but she'd been subbing for a long time, but had a few long-term sub positions. She was really impressive in her interviews. She's jumped on board. And then we had Jamie Studer, who actually was at Richmond. She retired and decided she wanted to come back, and so she's joined us. Megan Wozniak is our new math teacher. She's coming to us from New Haven. She's got experience as a math and science teacher. And also, which is nice, is Carmela Lewis is coming back. She was our St. Clair, the health department social worker, and now she's coming back to us as our internal. So we're very happy to have Carmela back. She has a really good relationship with the kids. So we're just a lot of energy. We're really happy back at school and we're ready to go. All the fall sports teams are up and running and we're going.
Thank you. Mrs. Lestage?
Algonquin's looking really great too. The custodians, any maintenance projects we've had. We had to build a new storage room for all of our ELA curriculum that I'm sure Melissa will update us on. So that was a lot of work. We are welcoming a few new teachers. Jamie Pizzora was a parapro and she's a parent of some students here at Algonac, and she'll be a 3rd grade teacher. And a new teacher, Lexi Osterlin, will be our 2nd grade teacher. Also, we have Brandy McDonald joining us as a special education parapro. Our open house is Wednesday, 5:30 to 7, and our PTO meetings are changing to the 2nd Wednesday of each month, and they're gonna be right after school. So we're kind of trying something a little bit different, hoping to pull in a larger group of parents, and we're gonna offer, of course, still the babysitting and snack and that for the kids, so they can just come in, and then we're hoping to get them before they go to sports.
Thank you. Mrs. Palicky?
So Millside has definitely had a buzz of anticipation and excitement as we get ready for the new school year. We have custodians and maintenance getting our building ready. Dawn Sadler has been working really hard with our new kindergarten enrollees that are kind of trickling in. So that's always exciting. And then we've had a lot of staff in making sure that their rooms look good and that the building is in tip-top shape for our families coming in. We also have some new staff to welcome. We want to welcome Kirsten Chapman. She's joining us for kindergarten. We also have Kira Brunel, who will be a 1st grade teacher. Alicia Coos, who's an existing employee, she's going to be joining us more at Millside as an intervention teacher. We also have Sherry Soltaire coming over to help us with music for 1st grade and TK. And then we're welcoming April Seeley, who's a literacy coach from RISA, who's done some work with Algonquin and is going to be helping support us at Millside as well. So we're looking forward to a great start to the year. We have our open house on Wednesday from 5 to 6:30, and we're hoping to see our families there.
Thank you. Mrs. Blazell?
So we've had a very busy but fun summer. We had a few new in-house field trips, which was a nice change. Jana was actually super awesome and put together a page within our Algonac Community Schools website, which included a lot of pictures from our summer program, and it turned out really cute if you wanted to check those out. We are now we're busy trying to make a quick transition between summer and the incoming school year. We do still have preschool openings. If you know of anybody, send them our way. We have our preschool orientation open house September 5th, and we are excited for the new year to begin.
Thank you. Now we have our new section 5B for curriculum director's report. Mrs. Hanners?
It's been a really busy summer. Going all over the district. We have lots of curriculum coming in. So the Amplify reading for K-5 is a lot of material coming in. So the teachers are very excited. We figured out how to house it in both buildings, where to go, and how to organize. They have a full day training on Thursday this week. Their kids are all in the system ready to go, as well as their logins, so they should be all set for their training. We have teacher leads in every grade that can help support that as well, that went through the piloting experience. So we're really excited for that to kick off here coming up. The science curriculum for the high school is almost all in as well. Mr. Frank went to trainings this summer, came back very excited. He said it was wonderful. So he was in texting me throughout the summer, like, let me know when the stuff's here. And I'm like, okay, it's in your room. So it's really great to see that bit of excitement from the teachers. but everything else is trickling in. It's all up and ready to go. Teachers are in this week because they're all emailing me saying, hey, this child isn't in my class for this, or this one's, so they're already checking things out and getting it ready to go. So we have a great staff here at Algonac when they come in on their own time to get everything in order, so more to come.
Great. Thank you. Clark, up next is board reports, and we've got one item on the agenda that we can start with is for the delegate assembly that is on Thursday, October 24th at 7 p.m. in Lansing. We need 2 delegates and an alternative. Are there anyone interested in joining? Jen, you'd like to go?
I'll be there, yeah, I have to
Okay.
be there for the resolutions and bylaws
Anyways,
committee,
yep,
so.
okay. Would anyone like to join Jen as well?
I can go for the last,
Last hurrah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then with that, I can throw my hat in as an alternate,
Okay.
if that works. John, Nicole, okay. All right, so then I'll be the alternate.
Okay.
And then I've got one more, and this is in honor of both Jennifer Baker and Janice Pasco. We have the Award of Distinction, Certificate of Achievement for Level 3 Award of Distinction for completion of certification levels 1 and 2 for 200 or 300 level classes at a minimum of 208 credits. So,
Oh, okay.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice job.
thanks for supporting us.
Yeah,
Kelly.
thank you for letting us go and bring that back, bring that knowledge back.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for both for all you do. Any other board report topics?
I do not.
Okay. All right, hearing none. Mr. Latos, Superintendent's report.
Yeah. Just wanted to give you some updates, and the principals talked about quite a few things I had on my list, but Ryan had mentioned that the track and the lot are coming along, and of course it adds to stress because it isn't done yet, but it's there. They had, I was out this morning, they were on the last coat of the track, and then of course they'll have to still paint it, but don't worry about that as much right now, but they blew a hydraulic hose, and so they were trying to replace that, and I think they were back and we're gonna finish tonight, so I'm hoping, they said they'd be out there till 9 o'clock if they wanna get this done and move on. So that'll take care of the track, and then the blacktop, you kinda see they're moving back, and I was hoping that the student lot was gonna be done, but it's not quite there, but it's on the list. They've stuck to their guns on it, will all be done by the time we open up after Labor Day, so keeping my fingers crossed and hoping.
Will the buses, right up until that day, are the buses gonna stay at Algonquin, or are they able to come back?
Well, they can come, as soon as that part's back there, because they did start working back by Point Trumbull, and they had a lot of those big places to patch fill, they had to cement some of the areas, and so, no, they're probably gonna be back this week, I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
okay.
yeah, we'll move them back across.
They're already back.
They're back? Oh, they did get back to?
They're back this morning.
Ah, perfect. I thought I saw you guys driving by me on the way in, okay?
No problem with the football game Thursday with the track or anything? or-
Thursday, we, in anticipation of not being able to get across the track, Mitch worked pretty hard, got to Cardinal Mooney and talked to them about switching for this year over to their place. So that game will be Thursday at,
Okay,
at East China, right?
East China, yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it was, the final call kind of was made this weekend just for the fact that, it wasn't even so much about that surface, it's just about people walking across that track before it's completely cured and dried.
And where do they play at?
East China.
Oh, they do play East China part too?
Yep. So, so that will be, our first game will be Thursday night over there. Outside of that, we've had to cancel a couple soccer games, reschedule, I shouldn't say cancel, reschedule, switch some home at home. So hopefully, this is kind of the end of it. We've got a big cross-country meet we're planning on hosting still, so I think we're in good shape moving forward, so.
And no rain in the forecast to
That's
screw up all your plans?
that's been probably the biggest struggle with it is, I guess there's a couple things that have been a struggle, maybe that we started a little bit later than we should have, but the rain has certainly not helped, so. And when it's rained, it's been, as you know, just deluge, right? And so it's been tough to get that stuff taken care of, but I think we're past that now, we should be in good shape. Passed around a employee handbook. It's something we had talked about, and when we were able to do the switch over to Troon for the policies, this was an option that they had, and it was an employee handbook and a sample of a student handbook. And the nice part about this is it's something that I've tried for years to kind of run down samples, and I've never quite found one. This one works out nice because if you look through it, it is pretty basic in terms of the language, but what it does is it hits some of those places, and when you look at it, it refers back to our board policy. So it's something that Troon can support, legally support, and it's also something for, you think of your new teachers that come in, and it's, again, there's nothing in there that's probably earth-shattering or that's gonna, shock anybody, but it certainly does talk about some of the things like, that we've run into over the years with, discusses dress codes, social media stuff. I mean, there's all kind of things in there, but again, refers back to the policy, so that's a nice thing. Now, the student handbook does the same, and I'll have one of those for you because I didn't want to give it to you because we haven't adopted those policies yet. But Ryan already has one in place. I know at the high school ready to go, and I know the girls over at the elementary had met on one too. So what that allows for too is it's kind of, you put your policies and your guidelines within that, and it kind of meshes in there. But again, it also has the legal backings on some of that stuff too. So again, I think a neat thing for our kids to have, and it's something that we'll cover with them in the very first week, and hopefully just a good tool for students, good tool for parents.
Al, is this pretty standard as far as what other Troon customers that have adopted what they offer for an employee handbook?
Yeah, and like I said, Phil, I had struggled for, within the county, we had talked about putting together a focus group to actually put one together. Well, when Troon came out, they said, well, we're gonna, in their second year of policies, they said, we're gonna put together a handbook. And so, it's been one that we've kind of been able to jump on and just adopt it to be ours, so, good tool, and again, something for teachers to, something tangible to have to hand to them when they come in, so. Wednesday morning, 7:45, you guys are all invited if you are around. We are having our annual kickoff breakfast. It'll be down in the middle school cafeteria, just like every year. This year, however, kind of a cool little presentation that we have set up. We've talked about so much about AI over the course of the last year and all the different things. Well, I was at the superintendent's conference this past winter, and I went into this kind of AI session, and I kind of sat in there, and it was about 45, 50 minutes, and I walked out and my eyes were like this big, and it was like, wow, all the things you think it is and what it isn't, and it was just like, but what really struck me is how much easier it can make some of our teachers' lives with lesson planning and creating materials and these types of things. And so I thought about really trying to, drill down and be an expert in it that quick, but I'm not there. So I reached out to Sean Bishop, Dr. Sean Bishop, who had did that presentation. He's from MASA, and I said, hey, this was back in June. I said, can you come out for our breakfast? Come out. And I said, exactly what you told us that day, I want them to hear. I want them to see. And he does a great job, and it's kind of like I guess like a 10,000 foot view, you could say. He kind of goes around real quick, but he touches on all the different resources, all the different sites, and just kind of explains what they're good for, how they help teachers. And it's always going to lead to questions regarding how we handle it internally, how we handle it with our student population. But this is something that our people need to see, because it's not going away. It's going to become part of their lives. It's part of what they're going to be doing in their occupations, and I just think it's real. I think it's going to be a fun day. So even if you could only get over here for that, I know I went home, I think the next day, and you start down that rabbit hole of going into those sites, and all of a sudden 12 hours later, you're still like your eyes are watering, but.
It can be quite a tool.
It really can be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just was, the first thing I thought about when I was looking at some of this stuff was, you know, as a former English teacher, you know, when I first heard about AI, it kind of gave me some heartburn because, you know, you think of all right, how these students gonna, you know, manipulate and do, but then when I started looking at this stuff and man, the ease that you can take and put this into your lessons and your instruction, it's just pretty cool stuff. So I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be good for some of our staff too. Some are already pretty well versed in it and some have probably never heard of it. So I think it's kind of a good mix for both of them. One of the things we had talked about, and I told you I was going to put together for the last couple of years, and I'm finally there. It talked about a student advisory group and a parent advisory group. So I got names from my principals, and those invitations will go out to the parent group, and when the kids get back, they'll get their invitations to come down for a group. Trying to limit those groups. What I'd like to see is kind of a mix, you know, and I've always said trying to get that group that's not all the same kid, you know, kids from kind of all over and maybe different grade levels. So I'm kind of excited about that. That's one of the things that has been on my list and I wanted to do, and I'm, you know, just in a position now, and it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. I think it'll be pretty fun. And I think that probably about covers it. So,
Thank you.
that's all I got. Thanks.
Clark, any visitors and requests?
No.
No? All right, that brings us to our 2 action items for this evening. First is item 7A, the Troon Policy Manual Adoption, or the big red binders that we've all got here. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Pasco, I'll make a motion that the Board of Education adopt the Troon Policy Manual, accept policy 5207 anti-bullying in the form presented as the board's new policies and bylaws, including those forms and administrative guidelines in the policy manual for the purpose of governing the Algonac Community Schools. Support?
Moved and supported. Any comments or questions?
Just so we're clear again, or just for the public, anybody watching. So this is the adoption of the manual which will replace the Neola policies, including the update on the Title IX stuff, which has changed due to the procedures that you have to use throughout. We have another adoption that will be coming next month, and that is for the spring updates from Troon. And so kind of look through those. I will send out a summary on those as well to you. I just went through them with Jana, and we've got the changes kind of in place, but I'll also send them out to you and just give you some of the highlights. It's a huge update in terms of volume. A lot of it is just changing words like within the policy. So for example, parents with a capital P now takes the place of guardians and everything. So that is like the new legal term. And there's some other verbiage within, but it's a lot of words. But there are some other policies within there too that probably are worth pointing out to you. So I'll certainly send that out to you along the way. And then we'll you'll have those in your hand if you don't already. We'll get those sent out to you. I just did, so not that Jan is dragging her feet. Jan gave me those 3 weeks ago. I just got to them now, so it's not her fault, it's my fault. Well, I'll get them out to you in plenty of time, and like I said, I'll highlight a couple of the ones that we probably should talk a little bit about, or at least if you have questions on. So that was about it.
Do they call out the deltas for you, or do you have to basically go through and compare?
They'll call it out and they'll there is a guide for you to go through. There's also a video that I can watch that it's kind of the same thing Wayne did when he used to come out and work with me at Neola, but it's done just video wise.
Yeah.
So, and I truly believe, at least I kind of hope that this is like just a huge update because of all the word changes.
Yeah.
Because if not,
normal.
that's going to be a lot. Yeah, I hope that's not the normal spring update, but I don't think it will be. I think it was just a long one because of that.
Okay. And I'd like to add, I think this is a really big step forward for us, moving, beyond what we've been using. So thank you to the committee, everyone who helped get us where we're at. I think it's a huge step. All right. right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Leading us to item 7B, the anti-bullying policy that is called out specifically. Would anyone like to make a motion on that one?
Pasco, motion that the Board of Education accepts the administration's recommendation to adopt policy 5207, anti-bullying, to replace all existing board policies, bylaws, and administrative guidelines concerning student bullying.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions, further comments?
And again, just comment on that, you know, policy is written like policy for a reason. It's defines and it's very, you know, lawyers speak in a lot of it. It's kind of what our administration does with that policy and how they make it their own, and how, you know, again, for us, it's making sure that we're following steps. And I just want to reach out, I had talked to our administrative group about this at the end of the year, because the spring always brings it, if people tend to, we get a lot of people questioning if their kids, you know, my kid was bullied this year. It seems like it's kind of blows up at that time. And so we sit down and we certainly always want to review what we're doing, not just the policy, but what we're doing internally. But just over the summer, Ryan put together a reporting form that's now online where people can report anonymously, and it'll go right to Ryan's.
We actually get like all the, like we're set up so that we, the administrators will actually be notified when there's a new, it's a Google form, so we'll be notified when we get it up, if there's an addition to it, so.
But anonymous, where they don't have to leave it, you know, it's, so that's, one of the things. Again, professional development day one, Adrian Luckenbacher's coming down from community mental health to talk about some of those such, you know, targets of bullying and recognizing bullying, and you know, along with some other mental health stuff. So again, that's another 3-hour training we're doing. And then just kind of at the end of that too, we've just talked about what we could do administratively. And I know Ryan said he's got Mitch and Joe going out into the classrooms, and it's that 7th and 8th grade group that, you know, they just maybe don't know. It seems to be, I shouldn't just pigeonhole it to that, but those are the groups where we seem to have the most reports and the most incidents. So sometimes just a good refresher on, you know, when you're doing this, it's harassment, it's bullying, and this is what you shouldn't do. And hopefully just that alone will get them thinking and talking about that. So we're doing a lot with it. You know, like I said, I don't foo-foo it. I know that it's an issue out there, and you know, it worries you because you worry about kids that are in that predicament, because even if they're not maybe by definition truly being bullied, they think they are. And so that in itself should be, you know, something that we give a little bit more attention to. So.
Then one last question. Will we approve this tonight, starting tomorrow? Is there an electronic version of the policies linked on the website?
There will be once we get,
Once I upload them.
once
Okay.
Jan uploads.
Yeah.
Cool. But everything, including Title IX, will be in that one too,
Mhm.
because we're a little bit behind on that
Okay.
one. So that's why I put it on this one. And then the updates will go in after we approve next board meeting.
Okay. Then without further ado, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, that passes as well. And finally, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Have a good night.
Thank you.